Hi, welcome to Tuesday Talk. We're going to have some fun tonight. We're going to be doing some crafting with hot glue, and it's different than anything that you might imagine. So I will go ahead and get started right away because I want the glue to set up for you, but so we can do some painting. But if you don't know me, my name's Lavon, and I go live every Tuesday night at 8 o'clock for Tuesday Talk. So we do some crafting and we do some talking and just have a little bit of fun. And I'm particularly excited about tonight's because I love doing this. I've done it in the past, and I just think it's a lot of fun. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to put the screen down first so we can get started a little bit. But I'm using these molds, and I'm using the hot glue. I already put one in here, and that one's still setting up a little bit. But I want to go ahead and do one so you can see how easy it is to put it in. And then it'll have a little chance to set up while we're doing some other things so we can move forward. So I hope everybody's week is going well so far. So far, so good for me. I worked today, of course, and got a lot done. So it was a very productive day. I'll be showing some pictures of what I'm doing, making some new spaces in the retail store, and just having some fun, redoing a lot of things. So making a little office and a dressing room. So I'll be posting pictures about those. Okay, so we have that one completely full, and I'm just going to let it dry for a little bit, and I'm going to show you some follow-ups on some other projects that we've done the last couple weeks. So let's see. Was it last week that I almost started the fire? So it wasn't actually, it was amazing casting resin I was using, but the video was the first time I tried Easy Cast. So the disappointing thing about this was that I had to let it set for 24 hours. But the cool thing is, once it does, it dries crystal clear. I love these, and I put glitter in them, and I think they're really cool. So I still have to get another mold so that I can make earrings 2 at a time. But I poured last night, or this morning, I think it was, a new mold so I could have a pair of these because I just think they're really, really cool. So that leads me to, and then there's a couple other ones. And these are real solid. And just like the other ones, you clean up the excess that goes around the outside of the mold. But they turned out really, really good. So I'm putting a few more in. Did some iridescent glitter in some of them. And this one was really thin. So that one's too thin to use as an earring. So I'm really excited to get that, get the other mold. Here's the other big one. So I just think they're really pretty. So that being said, I poured this morning, and I'm super excited about this. So this is a mold for a chandelier crystal. I love this mold because it even has little feet. You just pour the whole thing in, and it's just setting up. So that means in next week or the week after, we'll be doing chandeliers. So I want to make some crystals, get them ahead, and do some chandeliers. So that'll be fun. I like to make chandeliers, what I call chandeliers, out of different materials. So I think this will be cool to simulate a crystal. So, okay, and then a couple weeks ago, I said we needed some art for our new dressing room. So I drew the bride. Here's how she turned out. It's still not completely finished. I still have a little bit of paint touch up to do on it, but Deb that owns Love It suggested that I use one of her wedding dresses that the crystals had, or the sequins had yellowed, since there was some yellow glitter in this, to do put some fabric on it, and I loved the idea. So I think it's pretty cool. I'll show you when it's completely finished, but I love it. There are little pearls up here, and there's some fabric up here, and then the molds make the bodice. So I think it's pretty cool. I like it a lot. So there's that. And so we'll go ahead and get started. So what we're using is some jewelry blanks. So our jewelry is not going to be completely made of, thank you, Colleen, hello. The jewelry is not going to be completely comprised of hot glue. We're going to use these jewelry cuffs that I got. I just ordered blanks. So we have all kinds of jewelry to play with. And also I ordered some cabochons. These are round cabochons. So these are going to go on our bracelets as well. So they're really pretty. They're a real pretty blue, and then they sort of have a gold in them. So I ordered some more, but these are the only ones that came in. So before we got started, I did a mold and I unmolded it. So this is what it looks like when it's unmolded. So I want to start with paint on this, and then we'll unmold another one and that I did a little earlier, and then we'll keep tabs on the one that I just poured. You know how quickly hot glue dries, so these are going to set up really quick, and we'll have all kinds of fun. But I'm going to put the screen down here and get this in focus and get started. So they usually suggest when I want to use patina paint. And since the stones are blue, I'm going to give it a base coat in blue. Use vintage duck egg. This won't really show up, but we can allow some of it to show. Okay. So just going to give this a coat of paint, and this hot glue, or the glue, when it's set up, it's amazing how it takes paint. It's real super easy to paint. And the glue is just like any other mold. When it comes out, you just clean it up. You know, if you have any edges that spilled over or anything, you just smooth it out. And you really get a nice detailed mold with the hot glue. A lot of people use these on furniture. It's great if you want to bend the piece around a corner or a curved front. A lot of people use nothing but hot glue in their molds. One note on hot glue guns is the cheapy ones at the craft store or from Walmart really don't do justice. I like the ones from Harbor Freight that are just a little bit more, and they're a high temp hot glue gun. So that's what we're looking at. Now, also, you want to caution when you get a high temp glue gun that you get high temp glue sticks. I got multi-temp one time, and they really didn't work for what I wanted it to work for. So hopefully our paint's going to dry quickly. And let's revisit the molds here a minute. So here's one I did right before we got started. Check it out. Look how easy that is to unmold. And whenever you have these little strings that come off of the hot glue, they're really easy to get rid of with a hair dryer. So isn't that pretty? So that's that one. And so here's the one that I did right when we started. Let's see if it's ready. Oh, look, it's popping right out. Okay, here's a good example of one that you need to clean up. See the extra strings and everything on here? Real easy to just pull this off. You can use a pair of scissors if you want. And if you get the back of it not even, then you want to make sure that you kind of bend it and just trim anything that's uneven. But that actually looks pretty good. So we have 3 here that look good. What I'll do is I'll put a little more glue in some molds, and then I'll get started painting some more. So there's all kinds of fun things we can do. So remember I said last week had these little letter molds too. This I can see being a fun little thing to do with the bracelets. So there's a Q. So I think this would be fun too to make letters. But anyway, and I'm not really fooling around with that. That was just one of those things I thought was bigger and picked up. But you know, sometimes on Wish you wish you had something bigger. So I kind of went through the molds to see which ones I thought were best. So we're gonna try some of these. And these are redesigned with Prima molds, and the other ones are IOD. But I'm going to pick some smaller ones and put the screen down again. Whoops. Okay. All right. So that's drying real fast, which is good. I want to make sure you can see. Okay, so I'm just filling a couple molds here. I don't know how well these ones are going to work on the bracelets, just because I usually like something that's long. So this is kind of experimental, so I don't want to really do too many. Okay, so that's not very flat. Okay, let's do one. And I want to remember that the cabochon goes in the middle, so let's try this one here. And make sure you get the glue into the corners. So I'm working on something at the store, which is pretty cool. I am doing a dresser, and it has, I'm using molds and transfers, and it's sunflowers. So I think it's going to be kind of a pretty piece. It's a nice big dresser. So you'll be seeing that soon. Okay, I'm going to let these set aside. And then here's another mold. This one's all like key related, like keyhole things. But I think we could put the cabochon over that. This one, because again, I don't know like how cool it would be to have it overlapping since it's made of glue. I don't know whether that'll be sturdy enough, but I'll try two of them on here and see how we do, because they'll actually go off of the bracelet. So again, I want to make sure you can see. This is a real easy craft to do. And if you're interested in getting some molds, just message me. You can always message me on Facebook or on Instagram or right here on, you can just comment on the video and I will get back to you. I feel like I'm kind of making a mess of these, but the glue does really settle, and like I said, you can clean it up with the scissors. I do prefer the long ones much better, but I've never tried these, so we'll give it a whirl. Okay, so we're gonna let those set. Okay. So, and don't don't stack them, obviously, because let's see what happens. All right, I want to use patina on these, so I'm going to go ahead and put a base coat on these guys, and then I will use the patina on the one that I already painted since it's sort of dry. I love vintage duck egg. I painted my front door with vintage duck egg, and I used a piece stencil, which I'll show you in a minute. Used burlap, so we're getting some new carpet for our front porch, so we're doing a little makeover on the front porch. So I'm super excited about getting that, because I'm also going to redo some lattice that we had on the porch when I first moved into this house, and kind of got destroyed when we had some renters. So I'm anxious to restore it. It's one of those cool features, like this is a 1938 house, and it's just one of those cool features that just needs to be recreated. All right, so we'll let these guys dry. Okay. Close that up a minute. Put you up here a minute. See what's going on. Sorry for my arm. Okay, so the next thing we're going to do is get some copper patina paint. And hopefully this, or we could do iron. Let's do the copper, because we have that sort of gold streak in the, well, it sounds really runny. Shake it up pretty good. So patina paint is, it comes in copper, iron, and bronze. And it has actual metal flakes in the paint. And you use it with patina spray, which also has metal flakes in the paint. And they react and create rust on the piece. So it's really cool. And I also have, this is sort of a throwback because we don't sell this anymore, but it's a Dixie Belle, it's gold base. And I thought that might be cool to kind of dry brush afterwards on there. So this is the one that is most dry. I'm going to go ahead and put the camera down again. Try not to stick my arm in front of the screen. Put these here. And you can use these paints all by themselves. You don't have to use the activator on them to make them rust. If you like the bronze or the iron or the copper all by itself, you can. I've used the iron a lot, like in place of a black. If I was doing, I did some canvas work, and then I sprayed the patina on it. It was really cool. But I like it by itself too. Now, what they tell you to do, and we know how by this time how I am with directions. So, but what they tell you to do is put a base coat of a color on, which we did, and put 2 coats. The first coat they tell you to let dry, and then put the second coat on, and then spray the patina paint while it's wet. So we may or may not follow those directions. I did not bring my heat gun or hair dryer to blow on these to get them to dry any faster. So I'm just kind of pushing the issue here for the sake of demonstration. But I'm going to go ahead, even though this is sort of still wet a little bit. It does dry really quickly, though. Still a glue string on there. And we're going to use E6000. You don't want to use hot glue to adhere this to the bracelet, because it really won't last. The only thing about hot glue is when it gets hot, guess what? It melts again. So if you have a wreath or something that you're hot gluing things, and then you have it hanging on your front door and the door gets sun, the things that you have glued on are gonna pop off. They're gonna you'll see them laying on the ground. So keep that in mind. I really like the look of that with the vintage duck egg. I really like that. I think that's gonna look cool with the cabochon. Okay, go ahead and get this one because I want to spray the patina spray I'll try to put a second coat on there. I'm not really waiting for it to dry completely. I will take a paper towel and dab it, kind of. I love all the detail in this because we have the option of taking like a dark paint and kind of distressing it then, or okay, so they look pretty cool. I'm gonna go back to the first one I did, which I can't remember which it was. These two are identical. I'm just gonna throw a little more paint on all of these. If I hit the one that I just did, I think I did. Okay. I don't know. It's still wet, so I'm just kind of gonna go with it here. It's gonna dab a little bit more, but I really like the look of that vintage duck egg peeking through. So, like I said, as we all know, I don't always pay attention to the rules. So always shake the patina spray. And something to remember, this, you should take the sprayer off. I don't do that. You should, because it will clog up eventually because of the metal parts in it. So I'm going to put this back down and spray it. Hopefully not spray my computer. And we'll watch the magic happen as it rusts. See, the sprayer is hardly working, so we're going to settle for drops. Okay. And if that doesn't work, we can always take the sprayer off and just use a paper towel and dab it on, or use a brush. There's more ways around this. Okay, so I'm going to let this sit here a minute. So I definitely want you to see some finished jewelry. Okay, and let's go back to our molds and do some unmolding. I did these round ones first. We'll do these first. So they're still a little sticky, but they pop right out of the mold. So you can see it needs cleaned up a little bit, but I think you can see the detail in that. Okay, you can also see that I didn't get enough glue in that one. Sometimes it's tough to see. Okay, I like that one. That's really cool. Okay. Like I said, I don't know how they're going to look on those bracelets, but we will find out. So it overlaps the edge a little bit. Yeah, and I definitely didn't get the whole weight of the edges on these. Some of these fancy ones, you really can't tell. But, so I messed that one up. It's okay. It's only hot glue. And this one as well. It doesn't look good at all. So we'll scrap those. And that's okay. I'm going to go ahead and cast a few more. I like the long ones. So let's do some more of those. Okay. Make sure you can see here. Okay. Let's get these guys out of the way. Okay. Let's try this one. Really pretty. It's really long. Okay, I'm really quiet whenever I glue, apparently. So you guys, it's your turn. Feel free to comment and let me know what you're up to. Okay, sometimes the glue just doesn't come out, so you kind of have to push on the stick. And that's okay. This might be, I put another glue stick in it. It might be one of the low temp or the multi-temp sticks. That could be the problem. I think we'll be all right with it. Just want to make sure it's full. All right, we'll let that one sit up a little bit. And I'm going to take the paper towel and dab our patina bracelets here, because I want them to be dry enough so that I can glue one on and show you what it looks like. So we didn't really get any rust, but we do have the bronze look with the vintage duck egg, which I really, like I said, I'm really liking that look. And you know, patina paint continues to work even after you stop painting. So it can continue to patina up until, actually until you seal it. So I have done pieces before that I didn't seal, and it does seem to stop eventually. It's not like the piece is going to fall apart, but it is really cool. It does get kind of powdery if you don't seal it, though. I wouldn't worry about it on these bracelets, though. More so on furniture. So I think that looks pretty cool. I like the way it looks. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and take one of the bracelet blanks. It's a mouthful. And kind of guesstimate where the center is. And I'm going to use E6000 glue. And just kind of start in the center where that cabochon goes. And again, try to center it. So I'll stand the bracelet up, if it will. Maybe not. And just kind of center that on the top. Okay, just going to use my fingers to hold it in place. So the E6000 is kind of like a gel, and it's sort of stinky. Now you see I've got a lot of excess glue, but I really need to get this adhered, and it's difficult on this curved surface. So I have a couple of little clips that I'm going to use. You can use a clothespin or whatever you want. Actually, I have a couple of each, so I think that's slipped off of there. Okay, so this is giving me a hard time. Clothespins might be better. Definitely, much better. Okay. However, I only have one of those, I think, on hand. I should have probably put the glue on the mold. Okay, so the things you do on live. But that just goes to show you, don't be afraid to craft, because it'll all work out. Everything will be fine. Okay. Kind of want to get it down towards the end so that the end sticks. Okay, so that's what we've got. Sorry if I was off camera there, but just trying to see it. So I'm going to let that sit for a few minutes, and before it gets real set up, I want to take a paper towel and kind of clean up a little bit of that glue. because I kind of have a mess on the end, and we don't want that. Another thing too is I'm way off center. I see that. So I need to correct that before the glue dries. So we're just gonna undo these and I'll slide it up so it's more even. Okay, this will give me a chance to get some glue off of here. You might want a damp paper towel to do this. Let me get these clips back on here. Again, sorry if I keep putting you off camera, but just trying to see. Okay, so letting that dry, and while it's drying and while I have glue on my hands, I'm going to take one of these cabochons. So that's kind of standing up real nicely for me. I'm just going to put the glue on that and set it in place. Let that dry. Get the excess glue from that, because you don't want your glue to show. Because the E6000, even though it dries clear, sorry again I'm off camera, but I'm just trying to see it. So that's what it looks like, and we're going to let that dry. I'm going to keep looking back at it every now and then to make sure it hasn't shifted. Crocheting, huh? I wonder what you're making. So the patina is working a little bit. I think you can see that. That looks pretty cool. Okay, I love these. All right, let's paint the little circle ones. And before I do, you can see this one needs cleaned up a little bit. So just take regular scissors and just clean the edges up where you need it. Or just, you can even just use your fingernails and just pull it away. So, well, thank you. Colleen says that's cool. Very cool. They are pretty cool. I just love the way this looks. It'll look really good after the clips are off. And like I said, you want to check it every now and then to make sure that it hasn't shifted, or, you know, before the glue dries, or like here's something like, look, the end is not down. So I want to make sure that is down. And I'm actually going to use another clip just to make sure it's in place. So just keep checking it every now and then. And also watch your cabochon that it doesn't shift on you either. So these have a little hole in them, so they're just perfect for this application. And I definitely want to stick a little bit of that gold on there after this sets up a little bit, because there's just that gold streak in that stone, which is really cool. Okay, so we were going to paint these little guys. Let's try, you know, I always use that rusty nail, so I'm just trying to get some different effects. So let's take some kudzu. Oh, wait, I see something. You know what? Let's do it. Tree frog green. I thought this was mermaid tail, but it's tree frog green. Maybe we can try some purple too. See what happens. Okay. I'll put this down. Paint out of the way. And this is really super bright, very primary color, but it really might look cool peeking through the bronze. And if it doesn't, it's only hot glue. And we don't have to glue it on and waste a bracelet if we don't want to. Okay, I can see that I need to clean up the edge on that a little bit, but I can clean it up after it's painted too. That's fine. Okay, so that's one. Let's do the other one. I really look forward to Tuesday Talk. I really do. It's like probably my favorite day of the week now. Sundays are always cool too. Okay, so we have those two, and here's the other one that we. Okay, I didn't unmold this yet, but I see that I missed a big hunk, so I'm just gonna go ahead and fill it in. It's crazy hot glue sticking to each other. Okay, I'm gonna do a little bit more on that end. So that'll just take a few minutes to set up. And let's see. I'm going to go ahead. This is the longer one. And I'm going to go ahead and glue that on one of the cuffs. Except the only problem is I only have a couple of those clips. So I might have to wait a few minutes. Because actually the E6000 sets up pretty quickly. Not complete, but it'll be actually that we'll be able to undo it here shortly. So while I'm waiting, I'm going to put the camera up, and I was telling you about the door. Here's my stencil that I used for that. I got it from Etsy. So there'll be some signs done with this, maybe for Christmas and anytime. I think especially nowadays, peace is universal message. There's just something like, there's so many doors that say hello on them now. It's so trendy and stuff. I really like the trend, but wanted something different. And so peace seemed appropriate. So, what else? Sorry. The phone keeps going off here. All right. Okay, so that glue needs to set up just a little bit more, and this paint needs to dry a little bit more, but we're going to go ahead and paint some bronze on it. I'll use a paper towel and just kind of dab off a little bit. And put the camera down and do some bronze. The bronze on the green might be pretty cool, especially with the patina. I think I'm getting this peekaboo look because it isn't dry. If it was dry, you would just see mainly the bronze color, but I like this effect. It's actually sort of looks like patina already, even before we do anything else to it. So like I said, I rarely pay attention to the rules, so let's just go ahead and spray some patina on there. If it'll spray. It'll drop everywhere but on the piece. Okay, so we'll let that on there. A minute and just put them up here. That looks pretty cool. Okay, so I'm going to take the clips off of this I won't leave them off, but I want to take them off for a minute. And yeah, it's definitely not ready to take off. Okay, back on. But this area that's exposed, I'm going to do a little bit of the dry brush with the metallic base coat that I have here. That's the older version of Dixie Belle's Metallics. The new stuff is awesome. Oh my gosh. It's called Moonshine Metallics. It's just incredible paint. So I kind of have a soft brush, and when you say dry brush, it literally you just put so little paint on there. But I'm just gonna just kind of go over it and get some of the high points on there. Of course, the glue's setting on the cabochon because it's not centered. But I don't know if you can see that or not, but just ever so lightly with the gold, just kind of giving a little highlight. You see that? So I really like the way they look. And obviously, I'm going to have to follow up again next week with them because there's only so much I can do with things not drying. Okay, so where I fixed, it feels like it's ready to open or unmold. Okay, so again, look how easy the glue pops out. Oh, I see a spot I missed. See that? Okay. I'm going to go ahead and put some glue in there and fix it. It dries so quick. Like, why not take the opportunity, and why not? I don't want to waste the material, even though it's just hot glue. Okay, so here's what our little, show you. These are actually for knobs that you put on dressers. So they would be really pretty to do like a bohemian kind of dresser and do all kinds of different ones. But I just love using these little things for jewelry too. So it's pretty cool. And our patina, you know what I could do is I could dry brush these with the gold before I attach them. That's innovative thinking, right? All right. So I see that I have some new people watching, so feel free to just say hello. Okay, let me put the screen back down. And I'm just going over this ever so lightly and just putting some gold in there. Just real dry brush. Just hitting up the details. I love the look of the gold and the bronze. Really cool. See? Love it. It looks very like old metal, don't you think? So here's one without. I'll just put it up real close so you can see it. And you know, we've used other materials to cast molds with. The amazing casting resin, which I almost set on fire last week, but I will use it again. I will definitely use it again. I just misused it. But the thing is, the flexibility. The hot glue is the perfect material to use in these molds for this application just because it's so flexible and you can bend it and put it right on that jewelry blank. I love the way that looks. Okay. All right, so this is still drying. Nothing's drying fast enough for me tonight. So what are you going to do? We've been on 45 minutes. So what I might do is just let everything dry. And as usual, update you. I will be putting these in my store and in the Etsy shop. So, because I have made these in the past, I've had some really wide cuffs and done some different things with them and had some different size stones, bigger molds and everything. So you can make them really bold if you want, if you get a wider cuff, or you can just use this size, which I think this is going to be really pretty. And another thing you can do is, you can drill a hole. I mean, I would use the Amazing Casting resin, but you can drill a little hole in these and use these for necklaces and earrings. I did that before with the Amazing Casting resin, but the glue, it certainly would be lightweight, and you can't tell. I mean, you cannot tell that this is hot glue, because for earrings, it would be just really flexible. I really like the way that turned out with the green and the bronze. I think that's really pretty. The cool thing about the glue situation is that it's just so quick. So see how fast? Now look at all the strings that I have on there. And it's so easy to get rid of. Just pull it off of there and you have a nice clean mold. And you can use the scissors if you want, but just see how it makes that little spot there. I really went overboard with this. So here's a situation in the back here where it's not flat. I'll kind of hold it profile so you can see it looks kind of pregnant here. You don't want that because it's not going to lay against the bracelet. So just, if you get that, just fold it on the wrong side and take the scissors and just get rid of some of that hot glue, which is no longer hot, but just some of that glue. Make it flat, and that way it's going to stick to the bracelet a lot better. And again, just clean up this mold. Just use the scissors. And if you can't figure out how it works, look at the other side so you have the other image. And also remember that people are going to notice the pretty paint, the pretty stone. They're not going to inspect every little curve of this and say that it looks different than the other side. Here's a tip. When I hold it up to show you, the light showing through shows me where I need to trim. So, so that is a good tip. I think Grizz is under the table. Yeah, he's always our Tuesday night companion. Mine anyway, under the table. But he was, I don't know, guess he's happy. He's wagging his tail and making noise. So anyway, there you have it. And I have a whole bag full of these and a whole bag full of these and some on the way. So I will keep playing, and hopefully you have a great rest of your week, and come back and see me on Saturday when we do step by step. And I think there's going to be a couple little extra videos this week too. So I hope you all have a great week. Bye. And I love you, sister. Bye.